This event is organized by Cercle International, and it's a way of keeping together the international community. And we usually have a conference once a quarter, but once a year we seem to be having a trip. And this year we selected India as our destination. And the reason is that, you know, India, all of you know, has a very large market. It's growing very fast. It's one of the countries that are really growing in 2022 and 2023, and we estimate that the next decade that growth will continue. It's an alternative to China. Now more and more people think, you know, maybe we can manufacture or source our products from India rather than from China, and there are a number of examples about that. Because doing business in China is becoming a little bit more difficult. It's a fantastic reservoir of talent. So when we think of that, we think of, you know, the people that are in IT, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and whatnot. But we should also be thinking about the leaders of this world. In many large companies, they're Indians. It's the Indian elites that are leading a number of Western companies. And last but not least, I mean, India is very present in the Middle East. I mean, if you go to the Middle East, and if you go to the Emirates, and if you probably go to Saudi Arabia and part of Africa, you'll see that most of the people who manage companies are Indians. So for all these reasons, I mean, you cannot ignore India anymore. We cannot ignore India anymore. Ignoring India today is like ignoring China 10 years ago. It's the same. So we've designed a trip to help you understand that, and to help investors participate, because a number of investments, I think the number one country for investments today is the US. But within a short distance, it's India. Investments are going to India for all the reasons we've seen. So we've designed the trip with two ideas in mind. First, let's look at India today. It's not like what it was 10 years ago. It's India today, and let's see how we can integrate the supply chain, India, into the supply chain, into our supply chains. What does it mean today? Do we have concrete examples where that works? And if we do that, if we integrate India into our supply chain, whether it's for selling, whether it's for manufacturing or sourcing, then how do we build successful partnerships? Because everybody says, you know, sometimes it's difficult to work with Indians. And so what kind of partnership should we be building? Just a commercial agreement? Or should we acquire a company? Should we go into a joint venture, or should we go on our own? So these are the questions. So how do we integrate India into our supply chain, and how do we make it work? And then when we go to Bangalore, then the focus is entirely different. We're looking at the future. We're looking at telecoms, at IT, at deep tech, at healthcare, you name it. And there we have a fantastic vision of not only India tomorrow, but the world tomorrow. And last but not least, so we'll try to understand the ecosystem with the private equity people, with the campuses, with the incubators, and whatnot. And that's Bangalore. And then the last thing we should be doing really is look at the world from India. Instead of looking at the world from Europe or from wherever we are, from the West, let's look at the world with Indian eyes. And then we'll see something entirely different than what we've been used to. And I think this will be maybe a glimpse at the future, at what the future could be. And let's do that with a small group of people. We intend to be any number between 15 and 30 people, and of different nationalities. Of course, we'll have Indians with us, but we'll have Swedes, we'll have Belgian people, we'll have Dutch, we'll have German, French, whatnot. And this international group is going to be exposed to that exclusive adventure. That's what I wanted to tell you. So, because we don't know exactly who's will be in the group. I mean, we've got about 15 registrations so far, and we are very flexible in adapting some of the visits because not everything is frozen yet to the needs, the aspirations of whoever joins. So, for instance, if you're from the healthcare sector and you really want to understand something very specific to the healthcare sector, we'll do our utmost to make sure that we'll embed it in our trip. And last but not least, I would like to say that it's going to be a fun group. So in any case, expect to be tired because it's exhausting, and expect to have fun. We'll manage some fun times, I'm pretty sure about that. That's it. So you have Ranjit, who is the head of India at X-PM. You've got Seetha, who's there, who is the Bangalore organizer. She lives in Bangalore. Ranjit lives in the smoky city of Delhi. And who else is there from our team? Is Sushil here? I'm not sure. No. Okay.
No.
So anyway, we'll bring you through this trip. We'll give you ideas of the program, and most of all, we'll answer all your questions. There you are. Okay, Ranjit, would you like to say a word now?
Sure. Yeah. Before you came on, I already explained that the focus is on India as a partner for companies around the world. And the idea is to understand this massive opportunity that India represents. Today it's the largest country in the world. I don't think that has sunk in yet to a lot of people, but India is more populous than China, is a quasi-ally of the West. It's a low-cost manufacturing location. Some say it's the lowest cost. And it's on its way to being, among the very top economies of the world. The US, China, India, Europe, Japan. I mean, these are the major economies of the world. And so India is in that group. So understanding this massive opportunity, which has kind of snuck up on people, they may have missed it, but it's been building for the last 30 years. And the next 30 years are probably going to be the most exciting 30 years for India economically ever in its long history. And then we'll be talking not only about what India is, what India represents, but how to exploit that. And we'll be talking about the future, and that's where Bangalore fits in. So I'm just recapping, partly for Patrick's sake, what he missed while he was struggling to get on. And then Seetha, I mean, we can go through day by day, and then I could talk about that. But Seetha, do you want to add anything before we
start? I think what I'd really like to say is that I always tell people that coming to India is a bit like coming to Alice in Wonderland. You just don't know which rabbit hole you're going to fall through. And therefore, it is really, really nice if you can have a relatively easy way to navigate India. And that is really what this journey offers. It's a convivial group of people that are going to take you through India and try and show you the various things that you may have heard about. I mean, when people talk about a 6 to 8% growth rate in India, what does that really mean? In terms of the resilience of India, what does that really mean? And what does the number, 28 trillion mean? And how do you experience that in India? So we invite you to join us to learn about some things, but also to experience it with us. And most of all, we will introduce you to people who you can really make connections with. So it's not like coming to a conference. You know, you go to a conference, you're in a hotel, and you may be able to strike up a conversation with a few people. This is a special little journey where we will take you, you know, through the rabbit holes of India, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you know. And we've put a lot of care into the curation of this in terms of the introductions we'd like to make to the different ecosystems, you know, whether it's the government ecosystem or the startup ecosystem or the investor ecosystem. We're putting a lot of thought and care into who you might want to meet and why you might want to meet them. But we'd also really like to hear from you, you know, why such a journey might even appeal to you, what your concerns are and what your needs are as well. So this is a great opportunity informally to ask us those questions, really. Please go ahead, do that. You're on mute, Ranjit.
Yeah, one thing we could do is go through the program. And so you have a better idea of what we'll be doing day by day if people are curious about that.
Most people have read the program, haven't there. So I think I'd be happy to start immediately with questions about any questions, the program, the logistics. So the passport, you need a passport to go to India. How do we take a return flight from when we arrive from to Delhi, or anything you like? Do we need to get another shot for COVID? You know, any question is welcome to make your life easy. Don't be shy.
And I, for one, am really happy to see the number of women that we have who are interested, because, you know, it's unusual to have that in the sort of corporate forums that we usually are on. So, you know, I'd be really excited to meet you all and help you to navigate India in the way that is helpful and effective to all of you.
I see Asma has a question about visas. I am not an expert on visas. I know you need a visa to come to India, and usually you go to the Indian embassy and you get a visa. I think you can also get it online, but your travel agent should be able to explain all that.
Yeah, you can get, I'm not a travel agent, but I travel enough. So especially if you come from France, Asma, if you have a French passport, and I guess this is true for most Europeans, but you can check online. You get your visa online, and you have to fill out a questionnaire. It takes about 15 minutes, and you have to pay something like maybe 20 euros. And the next day you get the answer whether you are allowed to travel to India or not. And that's it. So it's very easy. You don't have to go to any consulate. And I think the same would apply almost everywhere. You just have to make sure that your father is not Pakistani and things like that.
Right.
Patrick, last time you mentioned that it's not mandatory to apply for business visa. So participants, they can also apply for touristic visa because we will stay only a few days.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm traveling a lot to Asia, and I never travel on a business visa because I'm not doing business the way people think. You know, I'm not establishing, I'm not employing people, I'm not taking anybody else's job. So I'm just on a tourist visa. Whether I, you know, sometimes I spend time with visiting clients and reviewing our operations in our various subsidiaries. But in all cases, whether it's in China, whether it's in India, I apply for a tourist visa, and everybody else that I know do the same. if you intend to go to India to sell things, to represent a company to sell things, and again, to apply for a job, this is entirely different. But here, yeah, it's a tourist, it's a tourist group that is visiting India. So it's let's make it simple. We are tourists visiting India, and we meet people, of course, like tourists meet people, and hear from the government,
Yeah.
you know, what it means to do things seriously in India. But we are at this stage, we are not
So, yeah.
seen as business people.
Thanks, Patrick. And Celia has a question about the recommended way of travel from the airport to Delhi. That's just to say that the logistics and ground handling will be taken care of, Celia. We have American Express looking at all of the arrivals and departure and type information.
Right.
Ranjit, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's not going to be difficult because we're going to be staying very near the airport. So
and we'll handle that.
It might be just the hotel itself will pick you up.
Yeah.
Can we have a quick go through the program, because there's a question about, okay?
Waldemar has a question as well, which about flying in and out of cities. So the design of the program is that you could fly into Delhi and out of Bangalore. And that's really to try and prevent you from taking a 2.5-hour flight back to Delhi, because Lufthansa, for example, and Air France fly out of Bangalore. So you don't have a problem. You can fly into Delhi and fly out of Bangalore, which is what we recommend. Or if you decide that you're going to stay on in India and do a little bit of more exploration, you know, either go to one of the other states, Goa or Kerala or anywhere else, you can choose what you want to do. But Bangalore is an international hub, as is Delhi. So you can fly into Delhi and out of Bangalore. You know, don't be afraid of that. And that will just save you a 2.5-hour domestic journey back to Delhi, unless you have a particular reason for going back to Delhi.
Can I have a go at summarizing the program day by day?
Please.
And you correct me if I'm wrong, because the first day, really, we arrive on Sunday on the 12th at midday. And then and there are a number of flights that arrive at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you like that, if you don't like that, I don't like that personally. I try to arrive 1 day in advance or 2 days in advance and relax and enjoy the comfort of a 5-star hotel in Delhi. You can do that as well. But typically, we start at 12 on the first day, and we'll have we'll get together, we'll get to know each other, and we will have a tour of the highlights of Delhi, and we will have a business dinner. I don't know exactly. I don't know. Maybe it's cocktails. It's cocktails and dinner. Anyway, that will be taken care of, and we will have two fantastic speakers at this dinner. And they won't make any real big speech, but they'll answer all your questions about India. So you can ask any crazy question that you have in mind, because everybody before going to India, we have our own ideas about India that you know we get from the media and the rest. So you come here. You may have studied India. You may have studied the geography of India. You may do some advanced work. We actually will send you prior to the trip. We'll send you a list, a questionnaire with your personal interest, and we will also recommend you 1 or 2 books that you can read prior to going to India, and then you can ask all sorts of crazy questions. I have my own list of crazy questions to the speakers on that day, and they're very high-level speakers, but apparently it's fun to exchange with them. So that's for the first day. So it's pretty relaxed upon arrival. On the Monday is really about integrating your supply chain India into your supply chain. So we'll have the government viewpoint selling India to you. We'll have company viewpoints. That is a couple of companies that will, heads of companies, of successful companies in India, and they will tell you why they're successful, what's important to them, and how they achieve success in India. And then we will
successful foreign companies, I would add.
Successful foreign companies, yes,
Right.
not successful Indian companies. we expect Indian companies to be successful in India, of course. But it's foreign companies, so that's going to be an interesting session. Then we'll also visit two companies, and don't ask me which ones, but it will be in the neighborhood of Delhi. So we'll go on the ground, talk to the people, see what's going on, and so on. Hi, Benedict. And that's and then if you're not exhausted by the traffic and these visits and the speeches, you'll be welcome at a business reception, where we'll have outside guests, and it's going to be a nice and friendly reception by a swimming pool, no, by the swimming pool. And where's that, Ranjit? Where is it taking place?
It's at the hotel, at our hotel, which is near the airport. Yeah.
Okay, and it's organized by the business community, and all the people that you will have seen during the day in the roundtables and so on. They will be attending the reception. Okay, and so that's the first day. Second day, we'll have an introduction on climate control, the climate control initiatives in India, because you may not know, but India is one of the further advanced countries in the world in climate control and climate control initiatives that provide opportunities for foreign companies. So that will be the beginning of the day, and then we'll focus on a number of successful partnerships. We'll have a round table with what we call facilitators, that is people who open doors to India, typically M&A people, accountants, HR people, and lawyers and so on. So this roundtable will focus on what you need to do to build successful partnerships in India. And again, there are different formats we'll go through. And then to illustrate that, again, in the afternoon, we will visit companies that represent these successful alliances. And then you'll have the unique opportunity to board an Indian flight of an Indian company, a premium one, and have a wonderful meal on board as you fly out to Bangalore. And then Bangalore, I can speak a little bit less of Bangalore, but I think, Seetha, can you maybe sum up what we're doing in Bangalore?
Yes. So in Bangalore, we're really going to focus on the tech story, the talent story, the idea of the startup ecosystem, and how that might work, and why it works in Bangalore, what's special about it. So you will get a little bit of the history, because we're going to, engage with the foremost institution that has put together the technology infrastructure, over the last decade. So you will get a whistle-stop history of what's worked and what hasn't worked. And then there's a leaders roundtable where people tell you about some of the things that they wish they'd known before they started, and some of the things that they may have missed out on, but also some of the things that have gone well. So again, coming back to what Patrick was saying, the idea is that you get an intimate view from these people. That's the idea. It's not just a sort of one person at the top of a room of 300 talking to you. You're actually intimately in discussion with people who are leading organizations and will share their real stories of India with you. So we're also hoping that, the tech giant universe, you can explore through the lens of a tech giant and see everything from what they're doing today, how big their workforce is, what their campus might look like, as well as the startup ecosystem in that space.
This is the American tech giant you're talking about?
Yes. And what we're looking to do is
it's Microsoft. It's Microsoft, no?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. So go on. But yeah,
and what Bangalore is not stunningly beautiful like Delhi is, and you will have had a tour of Delhi by the time you get to Bangalore. So my challenge is, how do I show you the sort of flavor and vibrancy of Bangalore? So I'm hoping to be able to do that by, taking you to places where you can see how young the demographic is in Bangalore, how many people there are, what the scale of it is. And you will be sitting in Bangalore traffic, because anybody who's been anywhere near Bangalore knows that that's the #1 issue in this city. But it was once upon a time a beautiful garden city. It has ancient trees alongside these modern tech parks. And I hope that we can show you a flavor of all of that as we show you how the tech story has been woven, what the ed tech space is like in India, what the education space has contributed to the talent story of India, and all of the investor and startup ecosystem as well. So those are the main areas that we're going to focus on in Bangalore for you. So I'm just looking that Waldemar has some questions, and I'm really interested to have those kind of questions. So
yeah,
Ranjit?
the answer is yes. One of the field visits is to an automotive company.
So don't be shy, raise your hand, or
Yeah, please feel free to speak.
Yeah.
When will we receive information regarding the name of the hotels, addresses, contact people on site, etc.?
As soon as you've registered, I think.
Yeah,
right?
I mean I can tell you the hotel. It's the Pullman. Yeah, which is in Aero City, and in Bangalore.
It's the Taj Vivanta.
Taj Vivanta, yeah.
Yeah. But as soon as the registration, I think we're closing the registration by the end of this coming weekend at the latest. You will automatically get all of the the introductory information and so on. But feel free to ask any questions that you might have, Celia. We've met now, and I think we're now connected also on LinkedIn. So feel free, if you want to ping us about anything in particular, I'm happy to help, navigate this for you.
No, we're not closing the registration at the end of the week. We expect to have things in place today or tomorrow as regards the link to American Express, so that people can start registering and paying. And what we do at the end of the week until Sunday at midnight, people who register will be able to get the discounted price, the early bird price of 2,000 euros. But after that, in principle, it was until the end of January. But because we spent some time discussing with American Express and getting the link and the procedure right, we've extended that to Sunday at midnight. So you have time to register, and people who register after that can still register. However, the discounted rate will no longer be applicable. It's filling up. I mean, people have shown quite a lot of interest, and I can encourage all of you to come, because you will see India like not so many people see it. Of course, we don't see it as pure tourists. I mean, we're not going to Taj Mahal and to Kerala on a boat, or to all these wonderful places that India has. But from a business perspective and from networking with among the group and with all the people you meet, it will be a wonderful experience. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of this trip. And I'm already thinking of the next one, which I don't know, maybe it would be in Vietnam or in Saudi Arabia, but that's so India is our priority today for all the reasons we've expressed. I see we have Bénédicte Brouard, who's here, and Bénédicte is heading the French Indian Chamber of Commerce in Paris, and she's doing a fantastic job, really. So would you like to add something, Bénédicte, even though you're not, I mean, I didn't see your registration so far, but would you like to add something? You're on mute. You're on mute. Okay.
So, bonjour to all. Happy to see that this program is running. And I encourage everybody who is not really familiar with India and Indian economy to go with it in order to have a smell of what can be done. As Patrice said, there is a lot of things to be done in India. That's what we are aiming to do as Chamber of Commerce France and in France. And we will be happy to help you if needed in any way as a contribution to your trip to India. But I will not be part of it because I have too many things in the meantime, especially the French Indian young talent we are just launching right now, and who will start, we will exist and we will welcome these 10 French and 10 Indian people with age less than 35 years in Paris, starting on the 16th of April. And that's the reason why we are really too busy to come there, especially after the ASEAN meeting of the Conseil du Commerce Extérieur at the same time. So it is a very crowded period for me. But I hope all well for all of you.
Thanks, Bénédicte. I think your initiative about, these young Indian and French people sharing perspectives together, I think this program is astonishing, really fantastic. Congratulations. Thanks. Yeah.
So,
and just to follow up on one of the things that was posted in the questions about the automotive industry, there are many sectors that the Indian government are actually providing production-linked incentives for, and auto components and automobiles are one of them, but the others are aviation, chemicals, electronic systems, which is quite a large area, medical devices, metals and mining, pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, telecoms, textiles and apparel, and white goods. That's just FYI, I can send that around, just so you know. And if you have specific interests, please feel free to reach out and tell us about them, because the more we know about you and your needs, the better curated the trip will be for you.